so.
C'è una luna in mezzo mare, mamma mia, mamma mia.
We're back.
All right.
We're back.
We are back for part 2 with Ted and Dom. Growing up Italian, keep the mic in front of you.
No.
We're okay. Remember, if you if you like what you see, subscribe, thumbs up, comment. Good or bad, doesn't matter. You're not going to hurt our feelings. You're not going to scare us because we will get out of the car.
As you know, we will. And it'll be an Italian car.
It'll be a Ferrari, maybe. Okay. All right, so we're back with part 2 with Ted and Dom, like I said. Rodney, what's our next
Our next subject is probably the greatest subject of all, and that is Italian culinary skills,
Best.
Italian food, family, tradition, all those things. Ted and Dom and Inez, obviously, as well as being a wonderful cook and has amazing culinary skills. Can you please give the audience and the younger generation such as ours what it means to have Italian gatherings centered around food and how much
family.
How much it played a big part in your lives growing up? Either one, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Well, I'll tell you, I think that, first of all, there were certain foods that you had depending on what the season was. And a lot of the holidays were obviously around religious, Christmas, Easter. I guess birthdays were kind of not really a big deal, but there were times for some reason they would get together, whether it was in the summertime. And there was very distinct foods, zippole. Oh, what's a zippole? Is that fried dough?
At least truthfully.
Strufoli. Yeah,
Strufoli.
Nobody makes them anymore.
Yeah, or my mother would make these ricotta pies with an egg and sugar. And, oh my God, were those good? Mm-hmm. You know, it was they call it the Italian cheesecake, but it wasn't quite as sophisticated because I never felt like she put enough ricotta in. You know, it was like she put it in. That's what I mean by certain things in certain seasons. Those were more Christmas, I think. Mm-hmm. Easter, she would make a bread with an egg in it, I think.
Raviolis.
Yeah, she made a lot of fresh stuff. She made her own bread. She made ravioli. She made her own pasta. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, she'd roll it up and be cutting it with a knife. She didn't have any fancy machines to make it and stuff. And as far as the food in general, I remember this food that I didn't want to eat. It was like beans and like cannellini beans, but she would buy the white beans and then soak them herself. I don't know what kind of beans they were.
Minestan beans?
Cannellini beans.
Minestan beans, yeah. And Minesta is really greens. Yeah. I didn't like that.
I didn't
like that. And boy, my father, you're not eating anything else.
My father was the same. Loved that.
Yeah.
And pasta fagioli,
which we liked.
Like it.
That was good. I liked it.
I would hide the beans in my napkin and then throw them away.
Now, when you guys had that, was it soupy or was it more like a pasta dish? Because I've had it both ways.
It was soupier.
Yes.
Soupier.
What, the pasta fagioli?
Yeah.
Well, the way I make it, it's not soupy. I take some of the beans, which I soak overnight, and I cook slowly. And I cream some of them and include it into...
He keeps the...
Okay? And then I cook the pasta with it. Mm-hmm. So it's not as brothy as it would be normally.
Yeah.
But I think it's very tasty. So
I like them both.
Yeah, and also when you eat it, for example, pasta fagioli, you leave it overnight, it thickens up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, these are foods. If you grew up with them, you know the phases of eating them. One of the favorite things that my mother always made was chicken and potatoes in the oven.
Yeah.
Or something, something like an American, the way they make meatballs. My mother would put, like most people do, obviously chopped meat, an egg, and breadcrumbs. But she would put garlic and parsley in there. You know how tasty that is? The Americans, they put them together, they think that they have a meatball, and it's okay. And then there's all this stuff, they feel like they have to put veal in there, and they have to put, it's chopped meat, folks,
I put something else in the meatballs. Because I have lots of time on my hands now since my wife died, which will be 6 years next month. So I cook for the kids upstairs, my son, his family, or friends. I go someplace. That's why I wasn't home today. I would have probably made something to bring here tonight because I enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In my meatballs, I use beef, veal, and pork, and a little bit of sausage meat. And then I take a chunk of mortadella,
Mortadella.
yeah, and
Hey,
cut it very, very thin because the fat in the mortadella is
I would
tasty.
not eat his meatballs.
No, that's right. I bet
gotta
if you
try
taste,
one.
if
I
you
would.
taste, you'll like
You
it.
got to try one.
No, I'll bring some over. Okay. And I cook it very slowly, but I use San Marzano tomatoes. I just don't use any tomatoes.
Wait a minute, how do you cook it slowly, the meatballs?
First
it?
I fry them, and now I put them into that special oven that I have.
Yeah,
that
right.
takes, but fried is still better. I fry them and then put them into sauce.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah. Can we fire up the Vulcanator?
But
let me tell you, you
the
never
mortadella, the fat in the mortadella keeps the meatball very, very soft on the inside and tasty.
Yeah.
I don't like them soft in the middle.
Huh?
No.
The end to the end.
You don't like mortadella?
I don't like them soft in the middle.
Well,
Like, you can see Italianos eat it. Where did you learn to eat this stuff? You're not a paisan. You made that up. You
Yes,
made
sir.
that up. You must be a
I-
cook. You must be a cook.
no, I'm not a cook, but I do have a family member who's a cook. He's got a restaurant in Poland, one of my nephews.
In Poland?
No, I was taught how to
Polish
make them
meatballs.
in Bologna on one of my trips.
You're not Italians either.
No.
Bologna,
but,
though.
but some stretch of the imagination, they may be and they may not be. So
How about people from Venice? I've always heard the only thing
Veneto?
born in Venice was rats.
Madarazza. They're Austrians.
most Venetians, I mean, they're the Eastern Northern Europeans. There's a lot of mixtures there. Yugoslavia, Croatians, Austrians,
Oh, all right.
Venetians. Trieste.
Venetians.
Trieste.
Don't forget that the Venetians controlled a good part of the world
Right.
before the Renaissance and immediately after that as well. So
Yeah. And in fact,
they're not. To me, it's amazing. It's amazing how that city is still
Yeah.
floating.
Yeah.
Wow.
If it is.
I know.
don't know.
We're not sure it is, but
It's doing the best it can.
right.
No, it is. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful city. I love it. I love
Well,
the
you know-
restaurants in it. Great.
You know what's happened to Italy, though? Probably, he'll know better, probably in the last 50 years, let's say 50 years, is that the work for the normal person was in Torino, Milano, the northern cities, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened was all the Calabres and Sicilians, they all migrated up there. They didn't go to America or didn't go to Germany. They went there.
They got to
and,
North
and
Italy,
now
yeah.
it's no longer saying that you're a Triestino or a Milanese, because now that the second and third generations are there. But I will tell you, I worked in Milan when I worked for Chase Manhattan Bank, and now again, this is my kid is 49. I wasn't married, so it's got to be 50 years ago. Okay, and I speak Italian, but he'll tell you. I mean, he really speaks Italian. I throw in dialect words, and I can communicate. Trust me. But he really can speak true Italian with all the verb correct. Okay, so one day I thought I would speak Italian to my secretary. Oh, ma lei è un terrone. Capito? Now, terrone is a pejorative. It's for people south of Rome. Oh, terrone. Okay,
It's a racist comment.
yeah, okay. So
Trouble.
you see now, and even from, just to get into another aspect of, from a banking point of view, they would collect all the deposits from the South, but the loans would go to the Northerners. Okay, very hard to get loans in the South. And I saw that. Oh yeah, it's really hard. A lot of it has to do because the Southerners don't have the cash flow. They make what they can almost not much more than live on, really. Okay, I mean, and you can look. And I was looking at the statistics of the average income and how much of it goes back to the government. A minimum of 35% goes back to the government. I thought it was more, because when I checked with somebody who does all that stuff, just as an aside about Italy, she said it was 50. If you have an employee and you pay him 2,000 liras, you're paying 2,000 to the government for Social Security, their health services, pensions, all kinds of things. So that's what socialism is. But let's not digress into politics. Yeah, just like some of the people in. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never talk politics.
God bless you. So anyway, what we're talking about food, right?
Talk about food. Good food.
So food has the best thing is when I used to going to Italy when my stepmother was still alive. She knew that I loved agnello, which is lamb. Now the Italians are big that you have lamb, not goat or not sheep.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a mature. So she would always make that in the oven for me with potatoes and stuff. Calamari, you can't eat calamari like it's in Italy. Here it's always frozen. That's why it's so salty and so chewy. Okay?
Yes,
There it's a joy to eat it, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, it goes on. Figs. My father had probably 6 or 7 types of fig trees. Some that came early, some that came late. Certe erano bianche, certe erano, you know? So it was a joy there. Apricots. You can't eat an apricot until you take it off the tree or take one off the ground. That's when you know it's really ripe. Juicy, sweet. You have it's like the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
That's what when you talk about Italian food, it's not like being an American and Italian. It's like having lived in Italy as an Italian, you know? And I can go on and on. Before they started making mozzarella here, buffalo, you go have one over there and you have the ones they think they make here.
Yeah.
The latte,
And particularly where we come from, the same area, that's the only buffalo mozzarella in all of Italy.
Exactly, because the buffalo are in the Gardiano, okay,
Yeah.
which is about 10 miles from
10 miles away from us.
So when you talk about food, I mean, I have a trout fishery when I was in Italy, okay? So you talk about fresh fish, we used to deliver to restaurants. I can look at a fish and tell you if it's under 200 grams. I ristoranti volevano meno 200 grammi because they used to sell it as a piece, but they they wanted to get at least 5 out of the kilo, okay? And they would sell it by the piece, but we'd sell it to them by the weight. I mean, there's just on and on as far as food goes. There's fish that you've never heard of that they
Dominic
eat.
actually owned a place
Yeah.
in Scoury where you fish your own trout and they cook the food right there.
Oh my God! Wow.
That's a whole other story, about the careers that Dominic had while in Italy.
La trota blu.
But Giardino della Trota.
Oh, Giardino. See.
But Inez, isn't that just like when you were in Scouty and catch of the day was literally the catch of the day?
Day.
You bought it from the Mediterranean, right?
Absolutely. Super fresh.
It's actually the Tyrrhenian Sea.
From Turanian, it come from the Turanian.
Yeah, just to be more accurate.
But I
That's
really,
very accurate.
I really following up
Spot on.
what Dominic was saying. I think that in some of the Italian homes, in this country, we try to keep, because in Italy, eating is a cult. It's not a necessity because you're hungry. You eat and you get together, you discuss, you fight, you argue.
Right.
So we try to perpetuate that kind of situation here by having dinners. My wife was very good at that as well. She was great. We always, a weekend and not go by, we used to have 10, 15 people all the time.
Yeah. You don't find that anymore though.
Less.
Well, my son
This
does
house-
still. He does
Oh,
it too.
here,
Yeah.
yes.
This house,
Yes, yes.
people gravitate here.
That's the
and
exception,
It's wonderful.
I mean, that's why I tried to make it that we would shoot this set here, because there's been so many good conversations here. I mean, all the best memories I've had was sitting right here at this table, us playing cards, having
Uno.
great memories at this table. And then back to, the catch of the day. Literally, when my father and we went to Italy, we would go to the fish markets, and it would just that morning, we would just get the fresh fish and cook it that day,
And for the real Italians, let me tell you, when you're regular in a restaurant and you order fish, it's in di ieri. That's only yesterday.
Yeah.
You want it?
No, they tell you.
I mean, depending on the customer. A regular customer, they're going to sell them the fish. But if you're a regular and you know the difference. The famous pizza. I have a real problem eating pizza in America. I have one of my best friends in Italy, really a good friend, owns a pizzeria. So when I go to Italy at night, if I have nothing to do, I'll sit in the kitchen with him. He owns the place, and watch him make pizza. So it's a whole different brand of thing. Now, it's not that there's people that make thin ones. His is a little thicker, but it's crocante. It's delicious. You could get it with anything from broccoli to a marinara, you know, to a, So it's a whole other religion. Here they slap that mozzarella on the greasy crit. They put pepperoni
Well,
in it.
it's not even mozzarella. My brother Roman used to call plastic cheese.
Yeah, plastic cheese. Yeah. I mean, you just can't. And again, one of the things I learned when I lived in New York, when the girl would invite you over to eat, right? And we were young, and she'd obviously make pasta, right? And her pasta was bolognese. She'd put it in a pan. She'd put the beef in there, the tomato. And, you know, I grew up with that stuff. But you know what you learn? It tastes good. Who says it has to be like your mother made it? Right. You ever see that thing on YouTube where the guy's eating the pasta and the wife says, "How is this?" He said, "It's almost as good as my mother's." And she throws a lamp at him. That was great.
Almost as good.
But that goes to tell you that what is Italian food? It's gotten so bastardized or modified, let us say, that if it's tasty and you like it, but don't go telling me it's Italian food, you know, because it's a different.
Well, you know, there's also a large part of in most restaurants. It's not really Italian. It's so prostituted. The Italian cuisine is so prostituted everywhere.
You know, another detail. Cheese. Parmigiano. You think they really ever give you how expensive real Parmigiano is? You think they're going to fill that up? It's Pecorino if you're lucky. And Ghigazzolo's like what it is, you know? So it's, are we being defamatory? No, it's just that's the way it is, and that's the way life is, and you like it or don't. I've learned to like Mexican food, for example, okay? I like certain things there. I like certain Asian food. I hate some of it also, and I don't like all it. Like, I worked in Milan, le cervello. How do you call that in English?
The brains.
But there's a word for it in English. You know what it is? Anyway, I ate it once. The second time, I just couldn't eat it. You know, whatever it was. It wasn't psychological. There's a word for, if somebody could Google it, when you eat the brains, there's a word in English that they, you know, an animal's brain. Yeah.
Zombie.
and Greece is a whole other thing. So we're not going to talk about Greece. But so food is to the eye of the beholder and your taste buds, and if somebody wants to call it something. But if you're going to start talking about Italian cuisine, especially the paisana, because there's also a whole level of Italian cooking that we're not even talking about. I mean, stuff that you can't believe how good it is.
So I'll tell you a quick story. My daughter dates a kid from Maine.
You're going to like this.
Okay. So my daughter, you know, grew up in an Italian household, whatever. So she goes up there one day. The mother says, I'm going to make you chicken parmesan. My daughter was like, oh, okay. My son loves it the way I make it. She's like, okay. Chicken cutlets. But she took the Kraft singles wrapped into plastic and laid it on the top. My daughter's like, what is that? She's chicken parmesan. She goes, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. She's like, I don't know what that is. I'm not eating that.
Yeah, can you imagine how gross that is, especially with the sharp cheddar on
Yeah,
it?
disgusting.
Oh, my God.
I detest, and one of my idiosyncrasies, I suppose. I detest when I go into a restaurant, particularly if it's a new restaurant. Because if it's a restaurant that I patronize all the time, I have to be able to go through the kitchen all the time. Mm-hmm. 4 or 5 restaurants there, I go through the kitchen, and then I go say. Mm. When I look at the menu and it's full of misspellings, when even the people that own it should know better than that because they know the language. Mm-hmm. And they just let it go because they're trying to please the people that mispronounce something. Yeah. So they are spelling it phonetically the way they custom say. Horrible.
Yeah, you see that too.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
That's really a sin. But pizza is one thing certainly that has always struck me as a big distinction. I really hardly ever eat pizza.
You can eat pizza. I mean, sometimes only in Stanford, Ramos.
Not bad.
They make a decent pizza. If he does it.
There was something else that came to mind. I mentioned the cheese, which is always a joke to me. The way I test an Italian restaurant, I always order eggplant parmesan. You can take some of them so that you're freezing. There's a nubbly Don in Florida. She actually slices it. She slices it herself, and she actually, so you really get it thin, and she makes a nice, and she fries it, and it's really tasty. But you get all kinds of stuff where God only knows. It comes.
Yeah.
I have one restaurant in town that I patronize in Darien.
What's the name?
A friend of mine, Papa Joe.
Oh, really?
He's a close friend of mine.
I thought-
I've been going to the restaurant
I thought he was Greek.
for 50 years. Huh?
I thought Papa Joe's was.
He's from Ponza.
Is he? Oh, Papa Joe's.
Papa
That one. I'm
Joe's,
thinking.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he makes it for me. I told him what to do. He makes it for me, eggplant franchise. So he gets the eggplant ready, with the breadcrumbs and the egg batter on it. He fries it quickly. Or he puts it in the oven quickly, and then he puts the franchise sauce, a little white wine, a little lemon juice, a little butter, and that's it.
I have never been overly thrilled with that restaurant.
Oh, it's great, it's great. It's the best restaurant in the area. Absolutely.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, he does the cooking. And he does the cooking now. He let the chef go, huh?
He did. Because I used to go there fairly, and we used to order a lot of stuff.
Well, it started, his parents bought it. They came from Ponza. They bought it. And the father used to work on a ship, used to be a cook on a ship. So when they started out, they cooked things like he would cook on the ship for his, for everybody.
Does his son ever stay there, or did he become a fireman?
No, he never became a fireman.
Is he with there?
He's not qualified to be fireman. He keeps getting rejected all the time.
Okay, because I remember
Cooks
that's
too
what he
much.
wanted. Yeah.
I try to help him politically in Stanford because I have some connections in that area.
But he's working with his father still?
No, he's not working. He works for next to where the Norwalk dump is.
Yeah.
There's a chemical company. He's got a job in there.
Interesting.
But he goes into restaurants. They want to kill him. Everybody. The waitresses. He's a terror.
And that's not a positive word, by the way.
No.
Sometimes it's endearing, but in this case, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got to ask you guys, and it applies to you, Inez. The answer is actually very clear, but you please chime in. Is how do you pass on all this rich tradition to your children?
Melissa's picking it up without even thinking.
Well, Melissa, my daughter, has always stayed in the kitchen with me. And then when I worked a lot, she just started cooking on her own. And she's phenomenal now. It's amazing. And she loves to read the cookbooks and to create. So I really give her kudos.
And desserts as well.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, great baker.
Kudos is Yiddish, I believe, isn't it?
Is that right? No, it's not.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Don't ever listen to me.
I'd say it's phenomenal, though.
Phenomenal.
Both of my kids do phenomenal. Dino, the one that lives in Jersey, he's been in Jersey for 33 years.
Yeah.
And Daniel that lives here, they're both great. I mean, Daniel works for a food company anyway. So.
Oh well, that's
I don't
right there.
I don't think my kids. I think they have some sense of it, but their mother was German. Okay, and so I don't think they've picked up any great tradition.
What about Christmas Eve?
No,
Nah.
I don't see it.
If you want, I'll talk to them.
Please do.
I will.
Please
You
do.
hear that, Matthew?
You gonna get out of the car?
Matthew's gonna have to stay in the car.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Stay
Yeah,
in
in this
the car,
case, you may not want to get up.
He may not want to get out.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's interesting, this thing of tradition. But I really think it comes from the mother, clearly.
Clearly,
You know,
yeah.
and going through those holidays with them, and preparing, buying the food, trying it yourself. Like if I were going to make that ricotta pie, I would make the dough a little thinner. Madonna, remember how thick she used to make that dough? And what kind of dough was that anyway?
It was just ordinary flour.
It was sweet. It was good tasting. It wasn't, but
It was sugar, flour, sugar. I don't know if it was Crisco. It was very strange.
Yeah,
recipe.
it was a strange recipe,
Yeah.
and it was,
Yeah.
but it was
Wow.
tasty.
Yeah.
But the thing is, she'd have a very thick crust around, and the ricotta would be in here. I mean, I'd wanted this much ricotta. I mean, like almost like a cheesecake.
Yeah.
But the other thing is this: I learned when they were poorer in Italy, you made enough to make it good enough, because you could not afford to be getting, make one pie and put all that ricotta in. So it's like strufoli. They're little round things of dough that they fry, and they put honey on it, and then a little decoration of those little
Shots.
dots. Yeah. So that's another thing that just came to mind. They made things that were pragmatic, that they got from, eggs. They had eggs, certainly. Lasagna, which they used to use, which was what? Fat?
Lard.
Lasagna is Crisco.
Well, no, but lasagna, that's in dialect. But that's not Crisco. Oh, it's the
Crisco.
Italian Crisco.
Lasagna had a lard.
No, the American Crisco.
No, I'm talking about the Italians when they actually... Yeah. And that's really rich, okay?
Yeah.
But talk about fat, So the other thing is, which comes up, which we don't talk too much about, and I learned this when I got out of college, and I went to Italy because my mom was sick. I went for a month, and I stayed 20 months. That's when I ran. That's when I ran the trouts. That's when I had the trouts, and I bought land from some of these guys. But it turned out we had cousins, and I got there. Remember one time? There was the time. The maiali, the pigs. They were. It was at fall time, so they would kill a pig, and all of the different parts, from the outside to the feet to the, and if you've ever had a pork chop fresh off of an animal over a fire, and a buddhisal, wow, that's why when you talk about eating, it's things that you do that when you're really in the nature of a country, you're going to have a tourist say, "Oh, time to kill a pig now." Well, you're going to be there in November when they decide that the pig's ready to go. No, so. You just learn so much about things that beautiful orchards, they couldn't make a buck because there's too much work between the pruning and the spraying and the fertilizing. You can't make a buck because the big guys would buy it all over the world wherever they could. It wasn't as good, but...
Right.
So,
and Uncle Dom, I got to stick up for your son Matthew. From what I understand, there's a strong rumor that he does all the cooking.
He does. He's a great cook.
So,
He's a great cook.
But
he's a great griller.
Okay. Mitigan.
Yeah. They turned him into a Mitigan, between his mother and his wife, But he still says he's a Decunto, though.
He's got to keep the name. There's nothing better.
Well, it's you want to hear another great story about
sir.
tradition?
Yes.
About tradition? Back when we used to write letters, okay? Matthew was born. Sandy said, I said, let's name him John. It's a tradition, the first son. And that's why she named her son John. And that was my excuse. I said, you already got a John, but he's not a DeCunto, right? That wasn't the real reason. Sandy didn't like the name. So she said, I think Matthew's a great name. Now, being a wimp, I went along with it, right? So I write a letter to my
Uncle
father.
Dom, happy wife, happy life.
You can say that if you wish. The question is, what's required to make them happy every day and every hour?
Firstborn son, Matthew.
Okay. All right. So anyway, so I write a letter, and at that time, my dad was married to Angelina. Okay. The letter gets there. He takes the letter and throws it on the floor. And Angelina said, "But he named his son Matthew. Who was going to know who he is?" Because in the land records, Giovanni Vincenzo, Domenico e Giovanni, Domenico Giovanni, from the father and son. My grandfather's name was Dominic, right? And he threw it on the ground. How could you do that? Interesting story about Italian and American culture.
Well,
and letting the American.
He said that now my name is lost.
That was his.
It's gone.
He said it's gone.
Yeah.
My name, it's no longer. Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
They're right. I was the only son he had.
That hurt him. That hurt him.
It hurts me now that I think of it.
Yeah.
He's changing his name, and he's going to send a letter to heaven. Say,
Who did
what's his middle name?
Giovanni? Sandy or you?
no, evil did chiamato Giovanni.
Oh, okay. Sandy said no.
No.
What's his middle
What said
name?
no?
What's his middle name?
Alexander.
Alexander. So he's
He's mad.
Alexander
He's
the Great.
mad. Matthew Alexander de
Mad.
Quinto.
Yeah.
Right.
Non
And not even that is her family name.
Yeah.
No,
Like a bit-
non è niente italiano.
Niente Italiano. And then we have Olivia. The hell's her middle name? Ollie. Wait a minute. Olivia.
We can cut that part out.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Lorian Olivia.
What?
Lorian Olivia.
Oh, yeah, Lori and Olivia.
Olivia.
Yeah. Where did those come from? Where do you think they come from? Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
Lothlorien was the king of the fairies. All
Oh, that's right.
right, that's what you got when you got a cultured wife.
Oh boy,
You know, so.
trouble in River City.
And I asked her about 20 years ago. I said, "Do you remember where we got?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, do you remember Lord of the Rings? And he was king of the fairies." And she, blah 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 blah. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's an interesting topic: the clash of the immigrant or the immigrant raised, whether it's a woman or a man, and marrying in a minigun. And what happens to that culture? And who dominates the family? And how, the whole thing is the Italians, every Sunday you had to go to the mother-in-laws or whatever to dinner. And the American girls, they ain't doing that.
Yeah.
And Lorian, I think, has rebelled a few times. She's, no, this Sunday we're doing this. She's a kraut, let me tell you.
Oh geez, knocking.
Maybe she's in this book.
Yeah, as an oppressor.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, actually, her family still has the rifle they used in the Civil War.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I swear to God.
Wow.
Wow, that is a wow, isn't it?
That's a while.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're real Southern family. The real
Jeez.
from Montgomery County, which is not the fancy one. It's gotten better now, but
Yeah.
it was And one more little anecdote.
Yes, sir.
I was living in Paris with Sandy, right? And before that, I had lived in Athens. And you always kind of want to go towards people that speak English. So made friends with a whole bunch of teachers that worked at the American school. One was also named Sandy. So in those days, she was traveling through. I said, okay, stop in, So Sandy and Sandy are talking together. You're not going to believe this. Their grandmothers were related.
Oh,
Wow.
Really?
Can you talk about a small world?
Really?
My God.
Could not believe that. I said,
Yeah.
I'm getting out of here.
Run for the hills.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, these little quirks of life.
Yeah.
Uncle Dom, I'm thinking here, and I've said to Eddie, and just in general about family and the things you've seen technology-wise in your lifetime is staggering to think about. But can you both, and as Inez as well, can you give me what did it mean to Italy, the launch to the moon and NASA, and that incredible moment at such a time where we had so much, maybe civil unrest and we had assassinations and everything. What did that mean to the country? What did that mean to Italians?
First an anecdote. I happened to be in Italy. I was working at the Trouts. I was there. And I had laborers working for me because we were building a restaurant, okay? And there's one guy named Giovanni, sweetest guy you ever want to meet. I don't think he had done much schooling, but he was smart. He had 5 kids. If he like his bike wouldn't work or something, I'd drive him home. It was that typical. They would take you into the living room, which nobody ever would in. Portavano la meglio prosciutto. They would give. I said, save this stuff for you guys. I mean, they want to give you everything the best that they're saving.
Yeah.
That whole thing, the padrone. Anyway. So we're talking to him. I says, John, hai visto la luna? They went on the moon and everything. Domenico, tu mica ci credi. That's a movie. You don't believe they really said that was his attitude.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people's attitudes.
That's a big thing now.
Well, wait a minute. There's a big thing now because they say, how did that thing that opens up, how did that fit into there? How did they get it in and out of there? With the obvious that the press tells you. So I'm sure there's an answer, I hope. Anyway, so what does technology mean to you, voi Italiani?
I remember vividly, I was working in Stanford in my salon when Kennedy got assassinated. And I liked Kennedy because he looked sophisticated, he looked, but I was not interested in politics in those days, so I just was very upset and very saddened by his death. And then later on, thinking about that he was assassinated, and then his brother was assassinated, and then Martin Luther King was assassinated, I said to myself,
I'm getting out of here.
did I make a mistake?
Who's next?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kennedy for a generation, especially my generation, I can remember being on the steps of the student union when someone said Kennedy had gotten in. It was an amazing thing that can happen. Because don't forget, he was Camelot. I mean, they had played this up and the whole thing. And, in retrospect, he was a scumbag like all the other politicians. But no offense to the Kennedy family. And the Italians have a fascination for the Irish. You know how many Italians marry Irish girls? Oh, my God.
But even here, I mean, look, I think it must be the most common union, Italian-Irish.
Irish, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah. They have beautiful children.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. My wife was part Irish. English and Irish.
Hey.
Beautiful children.
Beautiful children.
Yeah.
Hey. I can get the pictures out if you want. I have them here.
Might as well.
Yeah, you can show them, can you?
Absolutely. Now, are you guys, through the years, everything that you've done, everything you've amassed, all the great success that you have, no regrets ever coming to this country or staying in this country to live, right?
Absolutely not.
It is the greatest country in the world. And let me tell you something. If his era here as a young man and mine, now he's had it had more impact on him at his age than it did, say, at my age. Mm-hmm. I have lived all through Europe. Okay, I've lived in London, at Frankfurt, Athens. I've lived a lot of places, not just visited, but living there. Americans have no idea the beauty and the wonders of this country. And it's getting reduced for whatever reason. When I got out of college, I almost felt like I could fly. You could do anything. You felt like, here's a kid that comes here and opens not one salon, 3 salons. How the hell? He couldn't open half a salon in Italy.
Right.
All right. And now it's even worse with the BRI. Now, what's happening to us? Between the EPA and official disorder and this and everything else, you can't. You can't ask your brother-in-law what it's like to get a permit to do something. I got a permit for Matthew's house. It cost me like $10,000 to get the permit.
Just to do the work.
Just to be able to do the work. What's going on here?
Yeah.
And they talk about housing and they talk about people. Come on. And everything has to be tight and this and that. Yeah, okay, you got to pay for it. So what do? How did we live in that house? How did we survive? How did we do that?
Yeah.
How come the health department didn't come there and say, hey, this or that, or,
Exactly.
Okay?
They didn't know there was a profit in taking advantage of people.
Yeah, well, yeah, our landlord was, he took advantage of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do not have absolutely no regret. This is still the country where things work. As badly as they be malfunctioning one time or another, they still work. And it's still the hope of the world.
And just remember that. It's truly...
I mean that, sincerely.
Oh, okay.
I just wish that more Americans will know their own history a little bit better, which they don't.
Yeah, we talked about that before. They don't even teach in the schools anymore.
They don't teach civics.
And you guys are citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go do something about it. I mean, really. I mean, who are these people who presume that they know more than the rest of us? Who is some guy that sits there and says, we should be teaching this or that? Hey, I'm at the college. I took American history in college. I took language. I took stuff. What does he have? A PhD in what?
Yeah.
And tell me, let me see your dissertation on what? Some esoteric concept? I mean, we've all been around. We're not kids and haven't been beaten up or have made some success or have seen points of view.
Right.
Come on. Life is a point of view when you really think about it.
Yeah.
So if you have a point of view that's dominating your society and the teachers, remember one thing. I'm not sure if we should put in podcast. I was a teacher. And in the teacher's room, you find out teachers are the dumbest people you will meet. They may be great teachers, but they're not geniuses. They're not, half of them go to sleep when they're in there. And there are great teachers, but I'm just saying they're not intellectual giants. Maybe that's a better way to say it. So who are these people who are deciding what kids should be teaching? Now, here's the corollary to that. Go to rich neighborhoods. Those kids all seem to go to college. They all know how to read and write. They know math. Now, part of that is parenting.
Oh, of course.
Right? Of course. But the teachers can have a tremendous influence. So if you have teachers that are not good and the content is bad enough and they don't know how to motivate kids, where are we here?
Yeah.
Where are we here?
And the kids just skate right through the
Yeah, just
right
move them
glass.
through.
Yeah, but what are
Shuffle
you
'em through.
doing? Now we're talking about America again.
Yeah.
You're skating through to what? Now, some of them say, hey, I take a trade. and I don't need to know some of this stuff, but I'm a good tradesman, I'm a good welder, I'm a good carpenter. Okay, but what are we doing about that? Finally, the government is saying, hey, let's give a little more choice to trade schools, what we used to call trade schools, okay?
Yeah.
And we need them. There's apparently something like 110,000 jobs that they can't fill because people are not qualified.
Right.
And these are real jobs.
But affluence, intellectually speaking, affluence has never produced great geniuses.
Just rich people.
Well, I'm not sure I agree with him on that. When you
Well,
look at Silicon Valley, and you look
You
at,
mentioned you can take any great, even in this, particularly in this country. Affluence has not produced that.
as I said, I mean,
It produced in business, maybe. Yeah.
well, what do you mean by great minds then?
Well-
Yeah, like Galileo?
Well, it's just great writers don't come from affluence. Great actors don't come from affluence. The great musicians don't come from affluence. That's what I mean.
Okay, might be true. People who,
It's like that old Italian saying. The Italians used to say that, actually James Baldwin said in his book once, he said that what is good for one society may be not good for another, or what's moral for one may not be moral for the other.
well, that
He said-
relativity, yeah. But I mean,
He said, Italy, take Italy and Switzerland, two countries. Italy, 3,000 years of history, poverty, ignorance, bloodshed, foreign occupation. In only 45 years, they were able to create Michelangelo, Da Vinci, and on and on and on. Switzerland, 1,500 years of history, democracy, prosperity, and brotherly love. We're only able to produce one thing,
money.
the cuckoo clock. That's what I mean.
And the little knives with the screwdriver and
The little
file.
Swiss knives too.
real quick,
Made in China.
to circle back to the technology topic, I want to hear on film about how Nona and Uncle Dom, your parents, came to America, and how it might have been not the normal way how to come to America, or go back and forth. So if we could have that on film, that would be great.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Well, my mom told me that she never wanted to get married and she wanted to be with her mother. Her mother said, "It's not good to stay here. The war is coming. Go and be married. I'm not going to be living very long." So then my father, I guess loved her. I don't know what the right word is, liked her. And they made La Machad, which means the two mothers got together. The two mothers got together and said, "Yeah, she's una bella figliola," which means, "Oh, she's a nice girl,
Pretty girl.
and she would be good for you, and he would be good for you." So that's how it got started. I don't know if you want to tell the rest of the story about
like
how.
an arranged marriage.
Yes, an arranged
yeah.
marriage. Yes. If you want to tell the story of how they got here.
Well, yeah, I think the philosophical point about that is that, like Inez said, she was a nice, home, good person and functional. She ran things and everything. My father was a hardworking guy. He was the oldest child. Had gone to America at 18, and again, they were 35 when they got married. It was an arranged marriage. So they get married in Pompeii. And there's a picture that, if you want to look over there with the family together and stuff. My father went back to America, and it was what they call chiamare, call his wife, which means that sponsor his wife. So he goes to America, and the war breaks out. And if you recall, they used to have merchant ships, and they used to have passenger ships that the Germans weren't bombing, the submarines. Then they were.
Right.
So then my mother got on the last ship leaving for New York before they closed the Atlantic for any traffic. So she just made it there, or this little girl would be either born in, she wouldn't be, and this little illicit stuff went on. But yeah, she would not be a little girl, and I wouldn't be a little boy.
Yeah.
So that's a very interesting story.
The last ship
Yeah, the last ship.
in the transatlantic.
Imagine.
But
and then after I was born, they had the raids because the war was still going on in Europe, and they were afraid of getting bombed here. So my mom was trying to feed me in the tub because they didn't want any lights on, and they used to have the black shades.
Yeah.
Well, apparently my mom must have had some kind of light on, and the I don't know what they were called.
What they call the home guard, or in England they call them the home guard. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, would come around and investigate, and said you got to shut your light off because they were afraid of the raids.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's how I grew up.
Aerial,
Part of
right?
my life,
Aerial bomb,
you know, being
Yeah. But the technology for us, I think, excuse me, the big thing was TV. I mean, we had radios, and we'd come in at a certain time in the summer to watch the Lone Ranger and stuff like that. Okay. So, but the big thing was TV, and my father resisted getting TV. So we would go anywhere we could to watch TV. The next door neighbors had one, but kind of funny to be, there's a point at which, and then the TVs were weird. It's like
Yes. Yeah.
concave
Yeah.
screens, okay? So eventually we got a TV from Sterling, right?
before that, we lived in a 4-apartment building, and we were on the bottom floor, and my neighbors were next door, and then, of course, they had TV. So my brother and I would go out on the porch
Remember that?
and look in their window to see Hopalong Cassidy. And,
I thought of
Cassidy.
that. I wasn't going to say that, but yes, it's true. Now, we go back to this immigrant thing.
Yeah.
Father said, I'm not spending that money on that. Anyway, he eventually got one, and it was great. But you only had 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. That was it.
That was it.
And it stayed like that until we were kids, that's for sure.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the thing is this. One of the things that I remember is Mommy loved operetta.
oh,
Remember that? Yeah, she used to watch it on, I don't know what channel, Channel 13 or whatever. And this is the Italian, it's in their blood.
Yeah.
And she was pseudo-cultured. I mean, she grew up with more than just, a family that had something and so had some, I guess, opportunity to be aware of things anyway. So they certainly didn't have TV, but so
I
she.
didn't even
remember her
think of
watching
television.
operetta.
No, I know.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it.
And my father used to like wrestling. My God.
He saw George Animal Steel.
Yeah. And there was some guy, Italian.
Bruno
Sammartino.
Bruno.
All these guys used to watch them. My father-in-law too.
Yeah.
I mean, used to go crazy
I
watching
know.
them.
It's the whole thing. It's that ethnic thing about whether you're Polish or Irish or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. This is our guy, So that was true. So that was technology, probably the first breakthrough for us of having that. And remember, the cars, you had winding windows, the telephone, the radio that maybe worked or
Absolutely.
didn't, and we didn't have a lot of new cars. So, but there was the bakers down the street had a car with electric windows.
Oh, come
I remember
on.
sitting there and saying,
Gary and
Bougie.
yeah, and the people who were marketed is when Toyota started putting everything, air conditioning, radios, electric windows, and you could still buy it at a good price. They were brilliant. So again, we're going back to, we almost went backwards now to the immigrant and technology. But think about that, about what the Americans took for granted. The immigrant had to slowly afford it. Now, that wasn't true of everybody. We had some Shalabobla, guys that were, that
He was from Scauri, Shalabopoulos, the store in Norwalk. It was Tony Romano.
Oh, Tony Romano.
Tony
Yeah.
He's from
Romano.
Scauri.
Yeah, I know, but he was a very successful real estate guy, wasn't he?
Oh, Tony.
No, he did some real estate together with Nick Spagnolo and Tom Conti. He got involved a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Tony's still alive, by the way.
Oh, really?
He's got to be 90.
Shalabo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Shalabobla actually a name?
No, charitable means
Wasteful.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, showy.
Yeah,
showy.
yeah.
Yeah. And you know, we probably should be aware of a specific example of the difference between my father as an immigrant and he had a partner. And the only reason he had a partner, the partner spoke a little better English. And my father carried him for years, The first thing he made a couple of bucks, what do you think he did? He bought a Cadillac.
Yeah.
Died without
Without a penny
to piss in, a pot to piss
or
in.
a
as the
window to
Irish-
throw it out of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Lived in his wife's property.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
he could have done really well, but that's another example of
Yeah.
the difference.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you guys from an American going over to Italy, and I'm trying to get my partner to go as well. And through my eyes, I look upon Italy as a gem, a diamond. And just seeing, from the train from Rome going down to Scoudi, and you just see rocks as like nobody pays attention to it. That's history. That's a rock from history, on the side of the train as you're getting ready to pull out of the station. And my eyes are so big and so wondrous. I look at it in the reverse of how you look coming from Italy to America. So when I say, or when Ted says you don't know your history, I'm very much, I need to learn much more, but I'm absolutely fascinated with Italian history. And I'd like to end the show if Ted could just explain to this book, the author. We know concentration camps basically through the Jewish and Nazi occupation, but this is proof in its written word. And I'd like to have Ted explain this and where you can get it.
This
if you need
picture is
to know.
outside the concentration camp we all were in. I don't remember where the location is.
We're going to show this to the audience.
so
Tell the author
yeah.
and some of the people in the picture.
2 of these kids are my brothers.
Cheeto.
Oh, this way?
Yeah.
See.
Yeah, so he can see it.
Yeah. This one and this one are 2 of my brothers.
Here, there we go.
It doesn't make a difference who you point at. Just say 2 of them are your brothers.
Yeah.
That's actually
And who the author is.
The author is one of the kids in there. And he basically talks about what happened to the kids, all the kids. And he describes the saga of going from Castelforte into the concentration camp and then camps after that. And he also ended up in the same region of northern Italy as we did. And the book tells, of course, the book is in Italian, the book tells the entire story.
I would recommend anybody that's just is history buff. If you want to learn history, to get the book. And if you need to get an English translation, I'm sure they have it somewhere.
I can make copies
And,
of it. because-
absolutely.
But it's in Italian. The book is in Italian.
Yeah.
So
And then the other thing is to talk to your elders and your family, your friends, and as men and women, I think we need this generation to listen to what the generation above us has to say and what they've done and all their accomplishments. It would be an incredible thing for all of you to do, which is what this episode has really been, to bridge the gap, but not only that, to appreciate the history and the love and the family. Some of the things that we've lost in this country, that we should bring back. And this is what growing up Italian is to so many Italians, but growing up for family and to love, honor thy father, honor thy mother, honor each other. And, as people, we can, as Americans, as we take in so many cultures, the one thing we could bring in is the way the Italians do it. And I think that would bring a lot of the division that we do have. I think that would eliminate that, and just look what the Italians do, or look what the Irish do, look what they do on their own service, and what they do for each other as family. And that's what we are. We're an American family, but I'm so happy to be part of this Italian family. Very happy to know this gentleman, Ted, my Uncle Dom, and he's forever my uncle and love him to death. And, the things he's taught me and the things he talks about, and his beautiful sister, my mother-in-law, have taught me. It's immense. I couldn't even tell you all. But our family to yours out there, we say, please learn, listen, and love. Mr. My partner.
Whoa. You come out with gold.
He really
Liquid
does.
gold.
He really does. But to add on to that, I would also say, just if you still have grandparents around, or you still have the older generation around, please ask them these questions, these stories. Find out where they came from, because it's so important to know your history, your ancestry, your culture, where you come from, because honestly, my generation now, we don't have those conversations. To just do this is so special, and to be able to rewatch this, 10 years down the line when my son or
Absolutely.
my upbringing is coming around.
We love you, little Dean. Yay.
Yeah, and if you're not sure, if you don't have family that knows, you go on, what is it, Ancestry.com?
Ancestry.com, absolutely.
I had a family member that did it. It tells you who my grandfather was living with in Italy, who dropped him off at the dock, everybody on the ship, who picked him up,
Wow.
where he was going to live, what he was going to do for a living, which was cut hair. And yeah, they give you a lot of information. A lot. So that's another thing.
So to go forward, reach back from the past. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, it's important to know history. Yours, country.
Your country is
countries,
pretty
yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What do you
Very
say,
important.
Giovanni?
Yeah.
All right.
Guys, we love you so much. Growing up Italian comes from the heart, which it always is the meaning of being Italian, and we love all of you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been an honor. Hold on. It's been an honor to have Ted, Dom, and Inez on our show tonight.
The pleasure's all mine. Really
Can't
is.
thank you guys enough. This was very, very special. Remember, if you like what you see, subscribe, thumbs up, comment, good or bad. If it's bad, Ted's going to come and get you.
I'm not taking responsibility for what Ted's going to do to you.
Oh, we can't.
With my cane.
All right. Giovanni, thank you.
Thank you, Giovanni.
All right.
The super producer.
Rod, give it to him before we
Guys, the brotherhood, from the elder statesmen to the our generation to Giovanni's generation, we have spoken, and you should listen.
Peace.